What do you do when the party is over? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you know, when you play music for a living, man, parties can be incredible. And when I say party, getting up on the big stage, playing big gigs, the celebrating afterwards, the women, the booze, the party supplies, all of that. At some point, it is going to come crashing down. It is going to end. For every rock star there is, it is going to end at some point in time. Now, you might be Mick Jagger, and you might still be prancing around the stage, prancing and preening around the stage, and still dating young women, and still living the dream, as we could say. But Mick Jagger can afford a whole lot better lifestyle than most of the guys that are out there beating it up week after week. And most of us will never achieve that kind of fame or that level of party or that level of being able to do whatever the heck you want and get away with it. What do? When you get off stage, man, you're coming down off that stage high, and I've heard people talk about it. I've reached out to some people that wanted to get on the channel, and one of them was a buddy of mine, and he said, I'm not really into that these days, and I don't have anything to promote. Yeah, I get it. I don't have anything to promote either, except this channel, but I might put out some new music, in the future. But man, here's the reality. I've heard him talk about, coming down off that stage high. And that is the biggest high you're ever going to get in your life. Don't kid yourself. Don't think that there's something in a bag or something in a can or something in a bottle that's going to replace the feeling you get when that crowd erupts, when you hit the high note, when you play the perfect lick, when you get the wink of some young lady in the audience. There is no greater thrill than that. And why do musicians find themselves seeking out a high like that? Or why do musicians have problems with things? The reason is they're chasing that stage high, that party on the stage, and nothing you do can ever equal that. The natural high of performing is the greatest feeling on earth, and it's dealing with the aftermath of the come down, the stage come down, that can be a problem for a lot of people. And people wanting to continue that feeling, keeping that feeling alive, that woohoo, that big camaraderie and the party and the whoo and all that. Man, look at a guy like Ric Flair. Man, he's still trying to do it, man. He's still trying to get out there and dance and woo and do all that. And you know what? At this point for him, but look, man, for most of us, the reality is this. We've got to learn to come down. You have to learn to come down off of that stage show. Now, I know there's artists out there, a guy like Brad Paisley, right, who is not a partier, he might sing about alcohol, and he had a big hit song called Alcohol, but he does not partake of alcohol. And from what I understand, I've heard that backstage he's sitting at a card table drinking Yoo-hoo, playing poker with or playing something, a card game or Yahtzee or something with his band members and the people in his inner circle. And man, if he can do that, and he can do that, and be okay with it, then I guess we all could. We all could. But man, it's hard when the screams of the crowd and the thrill of performing and all of that is gone. Finding an outlet to channel that energy. For me, this channel has been invaluable because I am able to keep working. I am able to keep telling my story. I'm able to help people out there and shared experiences. Man, we're not alone in our feelings. We are unique, man. And let me say this. This is an important message. I grew up in a town that was very, what I would call preppy. Khaki pants and button-down shirts and Izod and penny loafers and all that. That was the uniform in the town that I grew up. And that was very much not me at all. I did not want to be a prep. I did not want to be a yuppie. It's just it never appealed to me, and I didn't fit in with that group. The valedictorians and all those people. Man, I know I've got a lot of wisdom and I've got a lot of knowledge, but I was never great in school. I was never able to focus on things, man. My brain is all over the place. It's shooting here, and I got an idea here, and let's go do this, and oh, what if I play this, and oh, grab that guitar. That's how my brain works. That's why I've got all these guitars back here, because I'm scatterbrained, man. One minute I want to play jazz, and one minute I want to play heavy metal. That's just how my brain works. I've got to go be all over the place. But man, I'm an old guy, and I'm still wearing shirts like this, right? I never wanted to wear button-down shirts. I don't want to wear khakis. When it's a holiday and we're taking a family photo, the wife will pick out a shirt for me to wear. It's always something that I'm like, I would never wear this out in public. But, I do it to appease my wife. But, not fitting in your into normal society. We're musicians, we don't dress like anybody else. We don't act like anybody else. Our experience is far different than anybody else. And that's why, a lot of times when I would go home, for family get-togethers and stuff like that, and sit down with regular folk, I just didn't fit in, man. Because the reality is I've been through way crazier stuff and had way crazier experiences than they can imagine. And to sit there and just, the other day we went out and, I needed some biscuits. So, I just can't. I can't relate to that because my experience is, hey, listen to this crazy story and listen to this crazy story. And it's a life that they can't imagine and probably are shocked and horrified at the stories that I would tell at the table. So, 9 times out of 10, I would just sit there and be quiet. Just quietly eat my food and then, go help clean up the kitchen or something. Because I can't relate to people that wear, I can't relate to people that wear button downs and khakis and are talking about their 401k. It just doesn't, it's just not something that interests me. I've got a brain that works so much differently. And as musicians, we are a minority. We, as performers, we are a minority. If you're an actor, you're a minority. You're not like everybody else. And we've been through a lot crazier stuff. And man, trying to earn $100 as a musician It always, it always entails jumping through hoops. It always entails some crazy story of trying to get paid, going and playing a gig and trying to get paid. It's always a story. It's always an experience. And playing gigs and whether it's at your local bar or in a stadium or an arena or just in somebody's garage, man, it's always going to have some crazy story. There's always going to be some crazy band member that did this. Joe showed up and then this happened and people, everyday people can't relate to your story. So the reality is, man, we're much different. We're much different than everyone. And, I know this talk is kind of all over the place, but that's how my brain works. The reality is, man, I could start talking about something and boom, I'm going over to somebody else. So, when people will watch an interview with David Lee Roth and say, man, he's crazy, I don't know what he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about, and I know exactly what he's saying. I can totally relate to somebody whose ideas go here, and then he goes there, and then he gets. I totally relate to that. And I know for the average person, their brain doesn't work like that. And I think maybe, it's safe to say that a lot of us musicians, before it was ever diagnosed, and I'm not sure, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I could safe to say that our brains are wired different. We may be ADHD, if that is even a thing, or ADD or whatever. I don't take any medication for those things, but maybe that's why a lot of us self-medicated over the years. Maybe because our brains didn't work like everybody else, and maybe we just needed moments of calm, or maybe we needed moments to amplify what we were thinking and be able to focus on something. Being able to sit and play a guitar phrase over and over and over and over again to try to perfect it. Man, there's a certain amount of crazy that you have to be to do that. And the deeper you get into the music, that's why I've always tried to keep a firm plant in the average day Joe. I like to hang out with regular people. I just don't always relate. But there are some. Those who are interested in music, those who love music, those who place high value in music, man, I have no problem having a conversation with them. Because, man, I can tell them a lot of what it's like in the music business. I can tell them, what it's like, what it feels like. But what happens when it's all over? When you're no longer getting on the stage, that's the hardest thing to probably, deal with, is not having that experience. And I've always, my thing is this, man, I did it for so long and for so many years. And, I enjoyed playing live so much. I probably will do it again at some point. Maybe once I've promoted this channel to the point where it becomes inevitable and I'm able to go play a gig and, 500 or 600 people show up in a venue, then I'll do it again. But now, knowing what I know now, I know I'll be able to go play, thank everybody, have a clear head, get off the stage, and and wind down like a normal person. But that is the hardest thing in the world, is to come down off of a stage high. And that is where musicians get into trouble, is trying to keep that feeling going. And there is not a feeling in the world that you can manufacture that will give you the same feeling as that rush of playing for that crowd and hearing that crowd roar and seeing all those people. I mean, you could be dead, tired, hungover, feeling sick, and they push you out on that stage, and all of a sudden you just come alive. And just like Michael Jordan in the flu game, sometimes you can rise and pull things out that you never thought you had in you. When you thought the gas tank was empty, when you thought you had nothing left to give, all of a sudden you find you've got so much more to give, and it comes out of you like a miracle. But man, coming down off that stage, when the crowd dies down, and you hear those slamming doors, folding chairs, and it's all over. It's a sobering moment, man. And, it can be a tough thing to come down from.